All right, good morning, everyone. So this morning we have a full PTO schedule for you. I do want to say that I know that you're used to having Mr. Salutary host these meetings. He is actually right now conducting final round interviews for the athletic director position. So you have myself and Mr. Bodner today to host today's meeting. So to start, I think we have Kyler. I do believe she's having some video problems, but I think she is there. She's just going to give a quick update.
Yes, thanks, Melanie. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, great, because I wasn't sure if that part was working either. Great, thank you, everybody, for attending this morning, and Melanie and Brian for taking over for TJ. First up, I wanted to thank everybody for any help they provided for the blood drive that we just held. We had parents both volunteer to work that day, and then also donate baked goods and fruit and all sorts of things for our donors. The students and teachers donated 36 usable pints of blood, which is very needed right now. So thank you for everybody who participated in that. We will be holding another blood drive we'll have 2 blood drives next year, one in the fall and one in the spring. And we will be sure to let people know as soon as we get those dates in the diary. So thanks again for that. The second thing I wanted to announce was that on Thursday, May 5th, we will be holding our annual teacher appreciation luncheon. It's snuck up fast on us this year. So we will be sending out more information to parents about how they can help us with that, but wanted to get that date into everybody's diary as well. Our slate is still open for both the president and the vice president position next year on the PTO board. I was hoping to be able to present a slate of candidates today so that we can vote on them next month. But what I will try to do is send that out via one of the weekly emails that TJ sends out as soon as we can get that slate firmed up. So if anybody has any interest in either of the positions, please do reach out to me or anybody on the board. We're happy to talk through what's required, which I have to say is not much at all. So please don't let that scare you away. But we're looking for some great people to just help us out for the next couple of years. And lastly, I mentioned last month that we would be voting on the adoption of the amendments that the board has written to our bylaws. The bylaws were posted on the PTO section of the Daniel Hand website. And so Melanie is going to post a little survey or a voting poll via the Zoom like we did last month for you all to vote on those, please, because we do need to have that voted by in a general meeting for us to be able to adopt those amendments. So Melanie, do you mind doing that for us?
So Kyler, the only change is that my version of Zoom doesn't allow me to do a live poll. So what I did was I just put a link in the chat. So if everyone can just click on that link, you should be able to then just select yes or no with regards to whether or not you want to adopt the bylaws. I do see a couple of responses coming in, so hopefully everyone can access the chat, and then Kyler, I can get you those results as soon as the meeting's over.
Great, thank you. And thank everybody for taking the time to do that. I really appreciate it.
Okay, Kyler, any other PTO updates?
Nope, that's all I can think of right now. If I think of something else during the meeting, I'll let you know. But I think we have a jam-packed meeting, so
perfect.
On to that.
The next update we wanted to give was for Night in Hand. I don't know. I see Beth on. Beth, did you want to give a quick update about the auction? I don't know if she can hear me. So I don't see Lisa on. I can give the update for them, I believe. But they wanted to let everyone know that the annual Night in Hand auction to help celebrate the class of 2022 is coming up. It's this Friday, April 8th. It's hosted at Camp Laurelwood, and the time is from 6 to 9. So this is really a huge event to help fund the Night in Hand event, which is just a huge event with so much decorations and fun for the kids. but they do obviously need money and funding in order to do that. So this auction event is really where they get a lot of that funding from. So please consider joining them this Friday, April 8th at Camp Laurelwood. All right, so the next item up for the agenda is, we believe we have the community tag sale update. So I think we have a couple of students and Madame Merkel for that.
Hi, so I'm Madam Merkel. I teach French here at Daniel Hand, and I'm going to actually turn this over to Robbie Washburn, who's co-president of French Club, and Katie Binder, who is president of She's the First. And they're going to tell you all the nitty-gritty details of the tag sale that's going to be happening on April 30th. So take it away, kiddos.
Hi. So basically, the idea behind this tag sale is to support access to education in the developing world, which is where the partnership between She's the First and French Club came along. So She's the First basically is a local chapter of a global organization, but we support access to education in underdeveloped countries. And we also support girls that are first generation receiving higher education in their families. And then if you want to talk about
yeah, so our proceeds are going to
Robert, we're unable to hear you right now.
Robbie, you're
If you could-
muted.
Yeah.
oh,
Can you hear it? No.
can you hear us or no? 'Cause
Yeah,
it says we're-
now we can hear you.
Yes.
Okay, so our proceeds from French Club go to the Help Foundation, which is the Haitian Education and Leadership Program. So they're gonna take that money and books, schools for Haitian kids. So and that's a developing country, so we're gonna be giving it to that.
Katie, we're
guys, your
unable to hear you
connection is
now.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, I don't know why we're not. Can you still not hear us? We're not muted.
We
Now
can hear
we
you
can.
now.
Okay, maybe if I'm closer, I don't know. But basically like student clubs or local businesses or citizens or people that want to perform or honestly anything that you want to sell or advertise, you can reserve a parking space to set up a booth at the event, and that's how we're making money. So a single parking space is $25 and a double parking space is $40. I know that there's an Infinite Campus like a section under the additional fees where you can buy the parking spots. And you can also like send in a check to hand if you don't have a student in the school system. And we are trying to get everybody signed up by April 8th, which is pretty close. But right now we only have like 4 people signed up, I think. So we definitely need a lot more community participation in order to make the event happen. So.
Yeah, we have a website that I'm gonna try to share if I can figure it out.
And we can put the link too in the chat.
Yeah, so basically this is our homepage, kind of explaining what we're doing. If you want to register, we have a Google Forms that you can do that on. And then more event details. And then organizers are. So that's kind of the gist of our website. I don't know if you
Yeah.
want to add anything more.
No, I think that that's basically it. And then we are putting flyers up around the school and around the town that have QR codes where they can scan into the registration form, but we can put the link to the website in the chat. It also goes out, I believe, every week in the, it has for the last like week or two in the message that Mr. Salutary sends out. So there's links as well in there.
There should also be links in the source. One of the French Club kids sent this in with the links to the source, and hopefully we're getting in the Shoreline Times as well. So hopefully the local papers, and I think you were able to put something in Patch, Katie?
Yeah,
Did you? Yeah, so it should be in
in
those.
like the neighbors group chat, yeah. In the batch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Trying to get the word spread.
Yeah. So everyone's support would be so much appreciated.
Thank you for your efforts in supporting such a good cause. And we really want to encourage everyone who is in this meeting today to really spread the word to support this event. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have Ms. Chrissy Coyle, and she's going to talk about some school counseling updates.
Hi, I'm Christine Coyle from the School Counseling Department. I'm going to share, if I can, a couple of slides for you just on some changes and updates. So I'm really excited to share some big changes for our department next fall. We're actually going to be transitioning one school counselor position to a college and career counselor position. So college and career counseling has actually been identified as an area of need for quite a long time, but we really just were not in a position with our enrollment to make any sort of changes in our positions without negatively impacting the students. So we're now in a position with our declining enrollment to make this shift. So next fall, all of the students that are on my caseload are actually going to be assigned a new counselor, as I'll be taking on this position, which I am very excited about. And because we have such a significant enrollment decline, our caseload numbers are actually still going to remain under the national recommendation for student counselor ratios. So what are we going to be doing next fall? Obviously, we have lots of plans, but just to highlight a few for you today, our main objective is to build college and career exploration opportunities for students both in the school day as well as outside of the school day. So what we're looking to do is to add more activities for students to explore their career interests. So just adding some type of career activity or lesson each year with every kid, starting in grade 9 and continuing through senior year. Some of these activities will happen in individual settings. Some of them will happen in group settings, but no matter the delivery, the main goal is really to help students make connections between their academic interests and their social interests and how those relate to career paths. So just helping kids to look at what types of classes are they taking at Daniel Hand? What do they really enjoy? What are they interested in taking in the future? Looking at their social interests too, just what kinds of things are they most passionate about outside of school? What kinds of extracurricular activities are they involved in? And then tying that into different career options and paths that they can explore. This new position is going to allow us the opportunity to provide more focused instruction and support for helping kids to establish their goals. So the plan is really to offer a number of workshops on a variety of topics, everything from college applications to resume writing, interviewing skills, speakers to present on various careers. We have a lot of ideas, but we're also going to be looking to the students to see what are the areas of need, what do they want to see in this, and looking at how we can offer those options to them during the school day. So one of our biggest initiatives with this new position is to establish partnerships with our local businesses. So we are going to be offering job shadowing, internship, employment, guest speakers. We really want to offer students more hands-on experiences, practical stuff that they can get involved in to help them explore. The goal is to really help them explore before they get to college so they can kind of know what they're getting into. Maybe some of this exploration in early years can help cut down on transfer rates, maybe some late changes in majors in college, late in their college careers. So we're really hoping to get some of this exploration going early on in high school. We've actually gotten a head start on some of this work. So 2 years ago, a team of staff members at Daniel Hand did some work on expanding the manufacturing pathway in the Career and Tech Ed department. And some of that work involved establishing contact with manufacturing companies in the area. So this team actually did an educator externship with a manufacturing company in Middlefield called Wetco Plastics. And this was a really interesting experience for all of us, pretty eye-opening to see all of the different jobs that are held even just under one roof in one interesting company. So I think it was really valuable for us as educators, but the most valuable thing that came from it was the partnership that we've developed with Webco. So just a couple of weeks ago, actually, Dan Grenier, who was one of the people who did the externship, and I met with some leaders from WEPCO to talk about just different options for our students. They're looking to get connected to our kids right away. So they're looking for students to work this summer, you know, kids that have graduated from high school, maybe kids that are still in high school, to do some part-time work, some summer work, internships. So anybody with tech skills, computer skills, problem solving, anybody who likes hands-on type of stuff, but honestly, most importantly, just a willingness to learn. So if you know anybody who kind of falls in that category, definitely reach out to me. I'd be happy to get them connected with WEPCO to see if that's something we can even get going this summer. Another example is with Electric Boat. They actually just recently reached out to us, and they want to be able to speak to students about different career areas. They want to arrange some information sessions for our kids. So we're pretty excited about that as well. So what we've been finding is the interest is out there. You know, businesses want to connect with schools and establish long-term partnerships. So I think this is going to be pretty successful. We're looking for volunteers too. So if any of you that are here today are interested in getting involved, next fall I'm going to be looking to develop a database of companies that are willing to host students for job shadowing and internships. I'll be looking for different companies to host job site visits and field trips. Always bringing people in to discuss their career paths. I think that's always helpful for students to hear firsthand. And then attendance at future career fairs. So if you think this is something that you might be interested in getting involved with, please definitely reach out to me. I'd love to, you know, start the conversation and see what we can do for our kids. So with that, that's kind of our position in a nutshell. I think I'll take a pause for a minute and see if anyone has any questions or comments or need any clarification on any of that.
Chrissy, there was one comment.
Okay.
Sorry, I heard an echo. There was one comment in the chat. Someone asked about the career fair and if we're planning on doing that this year. So do you want to just talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I will flip to my next slide. We are doing a career fair this year. It's coming up at the end of the month on the 27th of April from 6 to 7:30. We're encouraging all students from every grade level and parents as well to come. This is going to be a live in-person event, no more virtual stuff. So we are very excited about that. We'll have some representatives from colleges, universities, and trade schools, as well as some local businesses and the military. So I think there's really something for everyone at this event. So definitely mark your calendar for that, and please come on out and see what we're going to be offering to you guys. As we get a little bit closer to the event, a flyer and a list of who is actually attending will be mailed home to families. We're very excited about that. All right, does anyone else have any questions? All right, well, I will pass it back to Mrs. Witcher, who I think is going to talk about everybody's favorite topic, standardized testing.
Thanks, Chrissy. I just wanted to pause for 1 minute. I don't know if everyone's able to see the chat, but there is a message regarding the vote for the bylaws. I don't want to belabor it, but we do need a couple more people to vote. They need to have at least 2/3 majority. So given the number of people that are on the call, we do just need a few more people to cast that vote if they don't mind. I reposted the link. So if you can just go and click on that link and vote. Teachers can vote, administrators can vote, anyone that's on the call pretty much at this point can just cast their vote. All right, so the next topic is NGSS testing. So I just wanted to give a brief update. We've recently just had our school day SAT testing. It went very smooth. It was a full digital test this year. So the students basically, instead of using the old school, like bubbling in their answer key, they were able to select the answers and read the questions on their Chromebooks. So that test just happened this past Wednesday. It went very smooth. And we have one more standardized test for the junior class, and that's the NGSS assessment. This assessment basically tests all of our science criteria or curriculum. This assessment will take place on Wednesday, May 4th. It's very similar to the SAT. So the platform is exactly the same. The students have already been using this platform in all of their science classes. You might ask your student, if you have a junior, and say to them, have you guys been doing the IABs? The IABs are the interim block assessments. And basically they're like practice tests for the NGSS assessment. So all students that have, all juniors at the very least, but some students that are in sophomore and freshman year as well, have experienced using the platform, have experienced these practice tests. That's exactly what the test will be like on Wednesday, May 4th. So you'll get an e-notify with additional information, but that's pretty much all of the information in a nutshell. So I'm going to pass it over to Mr. Bodnar.
Hi, good morning, everyone. The topic I'm going to speak about now is our spring fling dance or / homecoming dance, as we did not have one this year or last due to the pandemic. And our student council has worked very hard to plan an event for Saturday, April 30th. And an e-notify will go out today with details of that event. And I will highlight right now just a few of the important reminders. The event, again, as I mentioned, will be late at the end of this month, Saturday, April 30th. The dance will be from 7 to 10 p.m. Students will be allowed to arrive up through 7:30, but no one will be admitted after 7:30 p.m. Students are required to remain at the event until the earliest they can leave is 9 p.m. And tickets for this event will be sold online using the Infinite Campus platform. They will cost $20. All of the proceeds will go to the Arthur Luff Children's Burn Camp located in Union, Connecticut. And this is, again, a great endeavor that Student Council does with our homecoming dance each year, is they donate the proceeds of the dance to a charity. And this year, again, it is the Arthur C. Luff Children's Burn Camp. The important reminders are that when dropping students off that night, if you are dropping a student off, they should be dropped off under the bridge and should enter the west building under the bridge. If they are driving to the event, they need to park in the back of the west building, and they will enter where the Tiger banner is, where we refer to often as the Tiger door, and they will enter the building in that location. For obviously a student to attend a weekend event and a dance, they need to be in school on Friday, April 29th for a minimum of 4 hours. So it's important to really emphasize to them that they are at school that day if they plan to attend the event. Tickets are not transferable, so it's also important that they realize that students have to buy their own tickets in advance. They cannot buy them at the door, and they cannot transfer a ticket to another student. As always, school rules apply to a school weekend event, and anyone arriving under the influence or in possession of drugs and alcohol will not be allowed to attend the event. Their parents and guardians and the police will be contacted in such a case. Also, at such an event, the breath alcohol tester will be considered for use if there's reasonable suspicion that a student has consumed anything containing alcohol. Again, we're really trying to make this a safe and special event for the students. For that reason as well, for safety and security reasons, no backpacks or overnight bags are permitted into the building. So it's important that students, again, be aware of that, and that they, again, if they're taking a ride from someone, that they, make sure that it's someone that they can trust. Because if anybody, we again look at trying to protect their safety, if there's anyone that is suspected to be, behaving in a way that looks like they're under the influence of drugs or alcohol, and we confirm that all students that were transported in the same vehicles as those would be asked, as that student would be asked to submit to a breath alcohol test. And all of this is outlined in the communication that will go home today. But again, the whole intent of this is not to read all of our rules, but to really emphasize that this is something that we hope will be a special event for the students, something that we realize they were not able to experience this past fall. And we, again, hope that they enjoy this very much. The next topic that I was going to touch upon is the master schedule. And to just update everyone on the process, Earlier this year at a PTO meeting, I had talked with the group about kind of the process of how we gather requests and where we go from there. And at this point in time, obviously your children have signed up for the courses that they hope to take next year. We have also sent home to parents and guardians a list of the courses that they requested. After we receive that and we've kind of gathered their requests and confirmed their accuracy, I begin a very tedious process of building our master schedule. It is I've described it this way in the past. Building the master schedule is like playing an enormous game of Tetris, or if you prefer Luminace, it's again a puzzle, and it's something where I am taking, in this case, the requests total, I think around 10,000 student requests is what I'm working with, and I go course by course to build sections and continue to move those sections around through the 18 possible slots in our schedule, particularly if it were, say, a one trimester elective that could meet in any period for 3 trimesters. I would move that course through all 18 possible locations that it could meet. And the end goal is to meet on a global scale the most student requests. At the moment, I am meeting about 95% of student requests, which is the one of the highest numbers I've had in recent years. I mean, we're usually always around 92.5% to 93%. I credit a lot of that to the work of our counselors, who did a great job of, after the students entered their requests, of reviewing those and working with those. And at this point in time, as I continue to, again, globally look at how many students are getting the courses that they selected, and primarily the required courses, continue to make adjustments. And if you're wondering how that is essentially planned, a required course is numbered in a way that it will draw students into it over an elective, because obviously it's a graduation requirement. In addition, our music program, being that band and strings are only offered in chorus during select periods of the days, those actually have the highest priority in the schedule, and they will draw students into those sections before anything else in our building. And after that, AP courses will have a high priority because of the fact that we know that if a student is signing up to challenge themselves in that way, that it's probably a priority to them that they get that course. And essentially, when we get into the electives, while their priority setting may not be as high as a required course, if it is a second, like, advanced level of an elective, the course does at that point obtain a higher priority setting, because we know that obviously if the student wants to advance and take another course in that area, it's important to them. So that is something that will draw into their schedule with great success in most cases. So at this point in time, I'm to the point where very shortly I will be handing to our department coordinators the sections I've built for them to review my work, to see if they catch any conflicts that I may have overlooked, and to begin looking at how we would assign those sections next year. Then ultimately, before the school year ends, our counselors go through each student's schedule and try to balance the schedule to ensure that the requirements that those students need for the upcoming year, that they have all of those required classes. And at the same time, if they see a student has a conflict where 2 things that they wanted meet at the same time, they would in those cases individually call them down to perhaps see which course they would prefer over another. That really kind of wraps up, my update on the scheduling process, and would certainly be happy to answer any questions that anyone would have on that. Okay, I do see that Mrs. Corvino and students have joined, and I know that they were joining our meeting to talk about Hands Got Talent. So at this time, I'd like to turn it over to them. I know we went a little out of order. give them an opportunity to share some information about this event.
Okay, so we're the Habitat for Humanity Club, and basically we do like builds and bake sales and raise the roof events, and now we're planning the school's talent show.
So all the money is donated to the Raise the Roof Foundation or Habitat for Humanity, and it's for a good cause, and it's going to be a major fundraiser that takes place on April 28th.
Good morning, Daniel Hand. Please rise for the pledge of allegiance.
Family announcements.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of
Announcements also.
Should we just talk over this?
to the main office. So please have Adeline Arroyo.
Yes.
Okay.
I would maybe wait a minute and then we can come right back.
Kate Burton.
Ms. Corvino, do you just want to mute for a minute? Sorry, the announcements are a little long today. They'll be over in just 1 minute. I'm sorry, everyone.
Okay, so at the talent show, there's going to be concessions, a raffle, and there will be an MC. And then we have like a bunch of acts. We have encore performing. We have the dance team performing. There's going to be like singing, dancing, all that.
And a band.
And a band.
And then the last time that we had it was in 2019 because we didn't do it last year because COVID. But the show was great, and we raised over $3,000 to donate to Raise the Roof Foundation and a bunch of other local charities.
So tickets are going to be available at RJ Julia's this week, and then they're $10 or $5 with a canned good. We're also selling them at school during lunch waves, and we're hoping that it goes well.
And yeah, this is Berkeley Porter and this is Nick Lombardi, and they've been taking on a lot of jobs. We really hope that you all join us. It's going to be a really fun event. And we packed the house last time, and we hope to pack the house again for a good cause. And we have teachers in the show too, like Mr. Gage is going to perform, Mr. Soja, and Mr. Russo. It's going to be fabulous. We have some really talented students here too. So I hope you guys join us April 28th.
Well, again, thank you everyone for joining us today. That concludes our agenda. And again, we thank you for your participation. And if you haven't voted, again, I would just encourage, as Mrs. Witcher did, that you vote using the link that is in the chat room before you exit the meeting. Thanks again.
Thank you, Brian and Melanie.
Thanks, Kyler.